Hi there, my name is Rachel, and today what I have for you is a video that is basically going to be my entire Halloween book collection. And the reason for this is I have picked up a number of books over the last several months, and the last month recently especially. There are quite a few Halloween ones, and I do want to do flip-throughs of all of those, but I was afraid that if I went through, I have a whole backlog of books to go through, that I wouldn't get to them in time, and then if you saw one you liked, it might be too late to color for Halloween. So I thought, well, what I'll do is I'll just do a feature video on all of the Halloween coloring books I have. Most of these are going to be new releases within the last couple of months. There are going to be a few that were released either last year or in previous years that are new to my collection, and maybe you've seen them before, or maybe you haven't. So anyway, with that, let's just get into the books I have here. Okay, so the first company I have, this is Coco Wyo. This is Chibi Girls Halloween, and obviously Chibi. Very nice book. Black backgrounds. I love the black backgrounds. Really big characters. As you can see, some are black backgrounds and then some are not. It just depends on the individual picture. But these are very cute, very thematically Halloween. I love the little chibi cute characters, and of course the chibi girls in most cases. I think they're really cute books. So I don't do chibi often myself for coloring. I do get them oftentimes for my girls, but I do like to color them on occasion. So this is new for this year, just full of all sorts of fun pictures, and especially jack-o'-lanterns. I love pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns, so really happy with this book. Great quality. It does have the black backgrounds, as you can see. So that one's really cute. And then also from Coco Wyo, I also have just their plain, more of their adult theme, I guess, if you consider Chibi to be more to kid-like. But they also just have a Halloween themed one. Now this one is thinner than their Chibi one. And this one, if it has any black backgrounds, I think there may have been one. But yeah, these ones are not the black backgrounds, but they do have the black ink backings. So as you can see, they are very detailed, but less the kind that children would want to color and more the kind that adults want to color. All Halloween parties, Halloween crafts, Halloween themed, just pictures of lots of pumpkins, fall decorations. So I really like the Coco Wyo books, and they do have a couple of different styles. Like I said, the more kid-like ones, and then these more adult ones. But this one was also new, and I remember probably last month. Some of these did come out at the beginning of this month. So, and I will do proper flip-throughs of all these books, but I just wanted to give you a glimpse of all the books I have, so that if you see one that you're kind of interested in, it's not too late for the Halloween season to go ahead and get it. So those were the two Coco Wyo ones I have, and I don't know if they have. They may have some of their older ones that I don't have. These were the two new ones from this year. All right, and then I love this artist, Kameliya Angelkova. This one is her brand new one. She's been doing her miniature series. Last year she did the seasons, and then this year she started early on with like kind of holiday-centric ones, like she had the love one for like Valentine's Day, and then she did a bunch of animal ones this summer. But this one she just came out with, which is Halloween's, and not only is it Halloween's, but this is actually also a black background. So her miniatures are these nice, big, large, easy pictures to kind of do. I really like her miniature series, and I'm really glad that she continued to do them this year, because sometimes you don't want to have to invest in an entire page, and I like the little snippets. I like that it's got the black background for the Halloween one. You can really do some nice lighting effects with the black background without having to worry about getting a nice, smooth, even, dark background. It might have been nice to have one version black background, one version light, you know, for people that don't like the black backgrounds, but I really like this book. I'm kind of expecting, because she came out with the Halloween and the Valentine's Day one stuff, that she may come out with a Christmas miniatures in the next couple of months too. She may not, but I'm kind of expecting it just because of her holiday themes this year. I love these ones. They're very cute, very sweet. A little bit of detail, but not too much. So it really works well, whether you like simplistic or even more detailed, because you can certainly add the details into these. But lots of Halloween themes, animals. She really does the animals. I love the little animals. So that is really neat, the 50 Halloween miniatures. Now this book was her one from last year. She did come out with this book last year. And these are her mandalas. Now some of her mandalas are just your classical mandalas that have patterns all the way through. But a lot of her thematic mandalas, the seasonal ones and other ones, actually are picture-centric. So they are mandalas, but they have pictures that go with them. So like this one has the spooky picture in the middle, and then kind of the mandala style around the outside. So these are really cute. Really cute if you just want to get into kind of that Halloween spirit. I like this book. And some of them are very detailed, and some of them are less detailed. So it's kind of nice, because then you can kind of tackle whatever you're in the mood for that day. You want to really get down, pick a detailed one, just in the mood for like some light coloring just to get some practice in. You can pick a less detailed one. But so she's got lots of really spooky, very spooky centric in this one. The Halloween miniatures was more cutesy. This one's more spooky, with monsters and skulls and things in that. So if you don't like cutesy, you can go for the mandala one. And if you like cutesy and you don't like the creepy, you can go for the more cutesy one. So those are the two that she has. And then from another one of my artists that I really like, a lot of these artists are ones that I specifically go and look to see if they've got anything new. Tatiana Bogema Halloween. And this one is brand new this year. This is Nice Little Town Halloween in Witch Town. Previously, this one is an older one, which was just the Nice Little Town Halloween, which is her classic little mice one. But this one is Witch Town, because she wanted to do something different this year. So this one is very much like her Nice Little Town ones. But they're not the tiny little villages. These are more of your normal size. And she's kind of got some new characters. I like that this is slightly, it's thematically the same, but slightly different, like, art style than maybe her little, the characters look a little different than her mice ones. So, really happy she came out with this one. And again, her work is a lot more detailed. But I love doing textures, so I like the ones that have a little bit of detail that kind of gives a hint at how the textures might go, but also leaves you free to do your own thing. And I love pumpkins, so I have a lot of Halloween books, not because I'm so much into Halloween, but more because I'm into the fall and pumpkins. So that is her new Nice Little Town Halloween in Witch Town. And if you prefer her mice, this was the one that she had released previously. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. But this one has been around. And this one is her mice one. Now, I noticed that her newer books that you get don't have the black background. Like the last two or so don't have the black backing. I've seen some companies are kind of on the board of the black backing can make books curl. They can also rub off on pages below depending. But they also mitigate some of that bleed through. So I don't mind. I don't actually mind either way. The black backing can actually help keep the paper sturdier and stronger if you're a colored pencil person like I am. So the black backing can help even if you're not a marker person, but you do have to put a page behind the one you're coloring so you don't rub that black off. But yeah, so this is her Nice Little Town with the little mice in their costumes. And these ones are going to be more diminutive houses in like shoes and mushrooms and stumps and stuff like that. I love, well, this one might be outside. I love the interior views of the little houses, and she doesn't do a lot of those. But so these are really cute. And again, I will do proper flip-throughs of, especially the newest release ones. But like I said, I might not get to them right away, and I didn't want them to come out too late. So that is the books I have from Tatiana Bogema. I only have one. This is from Ava Browne, and Ava Browne, I only really found them maybe the beginning of this year, and I used to get a lot of the Jade Summer books, and then Jade Summer changed their artists around. They used to produce a book every week. They would have a new book, and maybe it wouldn't be your style, but they would have swirls and mandalas and all sorts of things. Then their artists kind of did a big switch up, and this year they've released very few books. Maybe, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 books total for the whole year. So I started looking at the Ava Browne ones, and Ava Browne does all sorts of styles. I will probably do a video on both Ava Browne and Jade Summer separately. But the Ava Browne company does a lot of, they kind of mimic what is popular out there. So this one is actually very much in the line of the Tatiana Bogema book. So they have like a little secret village, which is also populated by little mice. As you can see, the pictures, as opposed to Tatiana's, are much more simplistic, a little bit rough. They don't seem quite as refined. They're still cute, but they seem, maybe the word is more kiddie. I'm not really sure, but you'd be surprised, even if you don't like kiddie styles or simplistic, you think, oh, that's too simplistic. When you start adding textures and stuff, you can actually make ones that even have simple lines. So look, just as realistic, or I don't know, depends on your style. And you can make them look as good as the one that have the more detailed to start off with, just depending. So I do actually get some of the easier books to color, sometimes just because I want a simple book and I don't want to have to necessarily put in all that effort of correct lighting. If it's a more sketchy, rougher kind of picture, it's okay to just kind of, just have fun coloring it and not really worry about making it wonderful. Now all the Ava Browne ones do have double pictures, so you get quite a few pictures with this company, and that might be one of the reasons I get them. I don't think that the artwork is as polished and refined as a lot of the coloring books that I tend to like, but you get the double images, and like I said, you can actually make them look really good, even if they start out as rougher ones. So that is the Halloween Secret Village, and I know they came out with a whole bunch. I think this is like a new line this year. They just started the Secret Village ones, and I'd gotten some of the early ones. I like the Halloween one because I like the Halloween decorations for that village. Now this book is from last year. I got this book actually for one of my kids last year. This is by April Amber. I think that this company also does just Chibi books, and I only have the one, I think, from this company anyway. But this is another really cute Chibi Halloween book. See, nice big bubbly Chibi characters. I like the artwork in this. It is kind of, the more polished. I don't know, it has clean lines. Some books have less clean lines, or they just seem like even if the lines are clean, the sketch seems less professional. I don't really know how to describe it, but this has a very like polished, like this is a final draft, not a a first draft or a rough release. So really cute Chibi characters. If you're really into Chibi, there are actually quite a number of Halloween Chibis books out there. Like I said, I don't do a lot of Chibis. I do occasionally. I like them, so I will pick some up. And my daughters like Chibi, so I do pick them up sometimes just for them. But this, like I said, this book came out last year, but it's still a really cute book. And this book is quite thick. I should be showing the sizes, but this is one of the thicker books. The Ava Browne one's a thicker book, whereas the Tatiana Bogema ones are just one copy of each picture, usually about 25 images, so they're a little bit thinner. Okay, then I have the books from Coloring Book Cafe. I really like this company. They do the thinner books, just the single pictures. This is their new one, their new Halloween one, which is for this year. They had a previous Little Witches one, which is a couple years older. I think this one came out before last year even. So this is their new one. They kind of have this nice. They had done a couple of girl magazines in this style earlier this year too, that were just girls kind of going about their daily lives, but really sweet characters. I like these pictures. They're very, again, very crisp, very polished. I like those pictures better than the ones that look a little bit rougher. So really nice. Just a collection of little witch girls doing their little witch activities. So maybe not technically Halloween, although I think a lot of people do witches and stuff around Halloween time. So yeah, this was one of their newer releases. Then this last year, Cute Monsters. Again, thematically, it's kind of Halloween. It's not specifically Halloween. And this one came out last year. I have colored in this one a little bit. But these are just kind of you know, your kind of normal horror monsters and stuff. I like this one. It's a little bit more cartoony. A lot of the Coloring Book Cafes are very realistic. This one's a little bit more cartoony, which I like because I guess I feel like I don't have to try so hard to get all the lighting and the shading, and I can be less, you know, structured in how I color it in. But really cute book. Like I said, this came out last year. And then this, like I said, this was an older one. These are both two of their older ones. You can see they used to have some of their books a smaller size, so this is not as big as. And this is very similar to the new one, but the characters are slightly different. The art style is slightly different than the new faces. I like the new faces better. These ones are okay. They're very round, very round. I like the new ones are a little bit cuter, sweeter. And I know there's a compilation book that like includes this one and the Cute Monsters, and then some of their proper Halloween ones, which I do not have their just Halloween decorations and jack-o'-lanterns books. They have a couple of those. Actually, this one has double pictures in it. This is, like I said, it's an older one, so it might have double pictures in it. I have their actual Halloween ones as PDFs. So I don't have the actual books, but if you are interested, you can check them out. And they do have at least two specifically Halloween older ones, and then they have like an easy Halloween one and a horror movie Halloween one. This is a more adult witch one. I actually like the adult witch. Looks a little bit better than the cutesy ones, but sometimes I'm in the mood for either or. Like I said, with the cutesy ones, I can be more cartoony. With these ones, I have to, like, you know, I feel like I have to look up, you know, skin shading and all that stuff and try and get my lighting better, and it takes a lot of work, and I end up doing less pictures then because I'm doing more research ahead of time, and then you know, if I don't find all the elements I'm looking for, I never get started. But I really like this book. Really like this book. So I planned on doing pictures, and I just haven't gotten to it yet. And like I said, they have other proper Halloween ones that I only have on PDF. And sadly, my printer stopped printing. My printer stopped printing from my computer. It's a printer photocopier. The photocopy works just fine, but the computer keeps thinking there's an error. So I haven't had the chance to get that corrected out. Here I have a bunch from Jade Summer. Now, so like I said, Jade Summer is a company that used to put out comic books every week. Really loved some of their styles, and then they had an artist changeover beginning of this year, so they've got a lot less books, and they have a completely new style. So their new style is, these are two, and they have at least two artists that are doing ones. This is, I think these are both done by the same artist. These ones are very cutesy kitty. That's actually not one for this book. These are the ones from. So they're almost like a slightly grayscale, really, really light grayscale. And then there are these very much more bubbly, kid-like drawings, which again, those can be really fun. You can do a lot of fun textures and stuff, but these aren't like, these are compilations, I guess, more than they are images, pictures. They are doing some of the images and pictures, just not, they haven't done them for their Halloween ones. But still a really cute style. And they used to do double images, although they've been doing like 50 individual pages rather than 25 with the double images. So you're still getting quite a few pictures with their books. But this is their cute and spooky coloring book from Jade Summer. This, I think, was their most recent Halloween release. Probably their, well, they may have had a word one. And this was their earlier Halloween release, which is Easy Halloween coloring book. And I like this one a little bit better. This one has, again, that very light, some of their newer artists have been doing this very light kind of grayscale. These are, they're still very large images, and very large images for me can sometimes be hard to color in because those large spaces, it's harder to do the more refined small details, but I really do like this book. I just haven't had a chance to color it in yet. But this is a very, very different style than the books that they had been putting out last year and previous years. So as you can see, lots of different images, all Halloween themed, but again, really, really big, bold pictures. But there are some that are a little bit more detailed. I like that. And then this is one of the ones they had from last year. Cute Witches. They had a lot that were in like kawaii, and they had like a whole Chibi line. They had a whole kawaii line. The Cute Witches wasn't specifically in either of those, but it was very similar to the kawaii ones. This was their older style, which is the style I like better. Like very, very nice. Again, polished artwork. But they don't. I don't think they have the same artists anymore, so they won't be making any more of these. But you can still get them. But yeah, so they're Cute Witches. It's kind of halfway between, you know, the more really realistic adult and that, you know, chibi kid style. So it's right down the middle. You can do it very cartoony, or you can do it more realistic shading and stuff. So, but this is a really nice book. This one did come out again. This one came out last year, so this is not a new release. And they do double pictures in these books. So, now this is their Chibi Horror, which also came out. This also came out last year. This book actually has a completely different cover now, and I've noticed a lot of companies do that. The cover now is a very monotone purple, has like a little ghost girl. It's got a different image on it. This used to be the front cover image, and now this is the cover. So if you're looking for this book, the cover is this girl, and it's in a very purple, monotone kind of a thing. But this was the original cover, which I had gotten it as. And again, these are really nice chibi characters, so very cartoony, but these pictures are very detailed, even though they are the chibi. Some of the chibi have the really big heads, and they kind of have that almost manga style where it's like cartoony, not a lot of detail, whereas this one actually has a lot of the detail in the backgrounds, even though the characters have that super deformed giant head and smaller body. Although they have proper bodies. They have arms and legs and not just the like hands and little stick legs and stuff. So really cute book. I have colored in this one before, and we used to do challenges with my daughters in this book, but this was from last year. The Chibi ones came out, so really neat pictures though. I really like this book. I'm a little sad that they lost those artists because I really liked these. I would have really been happy to have more. That was one of our challenge ones. Would have been happy to have had more of these books being produced. So double copies, double images in these books though if you get them. And obviously you can still get them, so that's nice. This was from last year. This was also from last year. They would put out pattern books. They did some color by number pattern books. They did a lot of their Chibi line, their Kawaii line. Then they also had other books. So they used to have just loads of different styles. They had some Grayscale and they had some line art. Now their books are more a little bit of the line art, but just that hint of the Grayscale in there. And they, for the most part, they are that really large, broad pictures. They do have some books that are very detailed as well. They're just not their Halloween ones. So this was the Halloween pattern book that they had, and kind of like the mandalas that they do. It's images that are repeated, but it's not circular mandalas. They are the full rectangular mandalas. But again, you're going to have, this one's going to have a lot more of the kind of creepy skeletons, ghouls, pumpkins, bones, things like that. So if you're more into the cutesy, this is more the creepy than cutesy. But it's still cartoony. So if you don't really like the super gore, it's not over the top. Like some of them get to be really all eyeballs and stuff, but mummies and things here. So it's kind of in between. It's not super cutesy and it's not super gory, but just all sorts of patterns. And I think that their books like this did not have double images. I think that they had just one copy of all their patterns. I could be wrong in that, but I think that's some of their books had double images, and some of them had more images within single versions of them. So that was the Jade Summer ones. Right, then I have, this is a brand new one from Damita Victoria. It's called Freaks. So it's not technically Halloween, although a lot of people put out the more darker, I guess, themes around Halloween time. So I have not featured Damita Victoria yet, although I will have to. But this one is a brand new release. And what I really liked about this one, I'm not really so much into the more darker fantasy or whatever, but what I really caught my eye on this one is that it actually featured a lot of males. The Damita Victoria ones have almost exclusively all female books. There have been one or two others that have had a few men in them, but I like a mix between male and females. You get different facial structures with the males, and so you can do different shadings and stuff. It's nice to do females, but like when every picture is a female, it gets a little old. So it's nice to try and get some of the more angular looks of the men. So that's really the main reason I picked it up. Obviously, I like fantasy, and I like the pumpkin themes. And you can see it's called Freaks, but it is definitely a Halloween-inspired one. That's why it just came out too. And then the Damita Victoria also do two versions. Now, I think this is more recent where her ones are line art as the second copies, and then the first copies are a light grayscale. So they're going to be all the same pictures. So it makes it kind of neat because in these books now, you can do the grayscale one, then you can do the line art one, and kind of do your own shading if you like. So it's kind of nice to have a grayscale and then a line art. So I really like this. I don't think she has... Actually, I'm not sure. She may have another Halloween one. I know she has some autumn ones, but I don't know specifically. She may have an older one. I probably should say it's a company, not a she. I don't actually know. Sometimes you can tell if it's a company or a specific artist, but this one could go either way. But so yeah, I like that they have the just a hint of Grayscale in this one. And that is the only one I have of hers. Now we have Molly Harrison, and she puts out she has quite a line of books. I don't know that she puts out many a year. This one is a compilation book. So this is her Big Book of Halloween and Autumn books. This one did come out recently in the last month or so. And this one has a bunch of pictures from all of her different Halloween ones. And I know I have at least one of these, like her cuter characters. That is Halloween, but it's a PDF. So I have some of her books on PDF. I only have like one or two of her actual books. But I like these compilation books. So this one has, so a lot of these pictures have been released before in previous books, but not all of them, I think. I think it says on the Amazon page how many pictures are new and how many pictures are reused. So she's got her really cutesy line, and then she's got more of her more detailed, very detailed, more adult type pictures. But there's just all sorts of pictures. There's 100 different pictures in this book. So I really like this one. And again, I will do a proper flip through. I don't want to do every single page here. But just to give you an idea, she's got, a lot of these close-up which ones. She really likes to do these, like the big moons in the background, which is a great way of kind of like filling up that backspace and just having the white, the all-white background. See, that just has a little one. The only thing is then, for me, when I go to color her pictures, I always feel compelled to like have to do a backlighting of a moon or possibly a sun, and that changes, how you want to do the colors. So sometimes I try and switch it up, and if she's got a lot of those very large circles in the back, I try and do a different kind of a background, so I'm not always feeling like I have to do a giant backlight moon, because it can be hard to backlight a picture, or just not be the feel you want. But she's a really great artist, and I really like coloring in her pictures. I oftentimes use her pictures for testing new colored pencils, because they're kind of all very thematically the same, and I can do like the clothes the same way and the hair the same way, and then I can say, oh, this set of colored pencils was easy to do this effect, and this other set of colored pencils was not. So I oftentimes use her works. But you may have seen some of these pictures before, because like I said, I think she just kind of compiled all of her previous Halloween-centric ones. Now, she didn't just, like, some people will release, like, 4 books all together in one book. This is kind of taking pictures from here and there, so it's not the complete book. So it is something different. If you've already collected a lot of her books, it's something different to have. So that is Molly Harrison's, and this is her Big Book of Halloween and Autumn coloring books. Okay, and so these, here I have Selina Fenech, I'm not sure how her last name is pronounced, and these are not specifically Halloween, but they are thematically the dark fantasy, the wild magic, so I thought I'd include them. This one, I want to say this one came out this summer. This one came out the end of last year. So these aren't exactly the newest releases, but I figured, looking for Halloween books, you might want to go. She's a really great artist, and I know she does, she puts out artwork for, I don't know if she does for books, but I know she does like cards and stuff, like oracle cards. So she does some really fantastic work, and I think, yeah, you can get a lot of her books, not necessarily these two. You can get a lot of her books in Grayscale, complete Grayscale, which is like a photographic Grayscale as opposed to a line art Grayscale. I actually prefer the line art to the photographic Grayscales. I find those much harder to color in because I'm using mostly colored pencils, and that kind of takes away the defined lines. But she does some super, you can see there's really detailed, really fine details in here, so good one to go with for those. if you're going to use markers like the fine point markers or, you know, colored pencils, not everybody likes the super details. I like a variety. I like some that have the larger and don't have a lot of the details. When you got a lot of these little details, it makes it kind of easy to do textures and stuff, because you don't have to kind of come up with your own texture. You can just kind of fill in the tiny little spaces and easily get a texture that you want. But so you can see, this is, again, it's not specifically Halloween, but it is that kind of essence of, you know, and she does have double pages, so these will all be pictures. I like the ones that actually have the double pages. I know some people don't, that kind of frustrates them. For me, I feel like the ones that have the double pages are the same price as the ones that have single pages. You just get 2 copies of the book when you get the book. And then I love the idea of doing night and day, or dark and light, or good and bad, you know, something like along those lines. Really getting a contrast and seeing how the difference is, or even just a color contrast of, you know, one's being more autumn colors and then one is being more spring colors or winter colors, or so really detailed. Really, she's a really great artist. And then this was her one from, like I said, last year, Dark Fantasy. Again, it's going to be very similar in that super detailed pictures. So this one is a lot darker, but I really like I would love to do this bear with the fur. I like how that looks, and I also like that she's got men. Like I said, I know that men are not super popular for colorists. A lot of colorists like, you know, they kind of like the smooth, doing the women faces and everything, but I kind of like having the men, because they have different muscle structures, and you can do different looks with the faces. Doing so many women kind of gets samey with, you know, makeup the same way, the shading the same way. So I really like her books because she does do men and women, very detailed. But again, for books like this, I have to kind of plan ahead. You know, if you want a special lighting source, you kind of have to decide that. Again, 2 sets of pages. You kind of have to decide the lighting source from the very get-go if you're going to do something special. So it can take a lot of work for me to figure out, well, you know, do I want backlit? Do I want, you know, a small lighting source, candlelight, you know, whatever. So I end up planning pictures in my head and then not getting around to it, because I'm like, oh, well, if I want to look up, you know, moonlit, you know, trees or something, then I feel like I have to do a lot of research, and sometimes I just want to sit down and color. And that's when I grab the ones that are a little bit more like the chibi and stuff, because I'm not going to be doing it as super realistic. So while I actually prefer these, I end up not doing them as much because I feel like I need to do my research ahead of time, and I guess I get kind of lazy about that. So anyway, the Dark Fantasy, Selina Fenech books. Again, I know she had like a Festive Magic one. I don't think she specifically has a Halloween one, though. Alright. Now this is an older book. This is the only one I have from this artist. She's a really great artist. I'm going to say her Alena Lazareva. I don't know how to pronounce her name. Lazareva. I'm not sure, but she is a very really nice artist. She puts out a lot of books. Now these are, she has a few line art ones, but a lot of hers are these Grayscale, which are the photographic ones. This is a Halloween one, but this is several years old. If I look at it, well, maybe it doesn't say. Usually it has the date, but this one has been out for several years, so you've probably seen this one before. But I do want to get into doing Grayscale a little bit more, so I like these ones. They're very detailed. Again, these kinds of pictures, they take the artist will actually do the picture in paints or something like that, and then just turn those pictures directly into Grayscale, so you don't get that line art, which is nice because then you don't have that very cartoony dark outlining. But it can also make it almost more of a challenge to see the edges of things. Where does, you know, the grass begin, the tree roots. You can get the really light areas where the hair is and stuff, and so like with colored pencils, which can be kind of opaque if you're using the better color pencils are opaque, and if you're using the lighter ones, you get that scratchy surface. So I find the grayscale pictures like these are better if you start out with like a marker, because you can get those colors in and then do your detailing with the color pencils. Whereas if you're just using the color pencils, you can sometimes lose the image in without the lines in there. So I guess I'm just not practiced enough with this kind of grayscale. But again, she is a beautiful artist, wonderful pictures, really detailed, really nice. So I'm really happy to have gotten at least one of her books. And again, love the ones that have the second pages. Now, oh, is this one line art? Oh, maybe just this one was just a sample of one of her other books. But yeah. Then we go into these pages. Oh, here. Oh, those. Okay, those were bonus pages. Okay. So then this goes back into what was. But so very beautiful. But yeah, when you get that indistinct difference between what is in the foreground, what is in the background, especially with color pencils, which are going to be rough on the page until you do all your finishing work. So when it starts out, it can be really difficult to get it to look really nice. I find that these ones work really well with if you use the the blending, especially if you use like the alcohols and stuff. But this paper, the Amazon print paper, isn't as good for those, so it can be a little bit of a challenge. But beautiful. This is an older Halloween. I know she's put out some books this year, but this is the only one of hers I have. Okay, and then this, okay, this is actually autumn. It is not Halloween, but kind of in theme. I like that she puts, so you can kind of see when you're buying the books, a sample. It's called autumn, but I think that a lot of the pictures are, and here she has her like thumbnails for figuring stuff out. But they are kind of thematically Halloween. With the raven there, I know she's got some pumpkins and stuff in these. Another great, oh I'm sorry, this is Janna well, I don't think I can say her last name. Prosvirina. Probably slaughtering that, but she is another really fabulous artist. Because some of these coloring books are by companies that have coloring book artists, and they're great and nice, but then there's some that are like professional artists, and then they also turn their works or do extra works as coloring books too. So yeah, this is very Halloween themed, even though it's just her autumn book. But I really like her works. This is kind of like right in the area I like. It's adult, it's detailed, the figures don't look so cartoony, but it's also not that super tiny, super really refined. So she's kind of, there's a gradient of detail to cartoony in all of the coloring books I have. So really love her work. That's Janna Prosvirina, and then that kind of leads into this one, which is from last year. This is Coloring Heaven, which is a British publication magazine, and they do a Halloween issue. As far as I can tell, they've done a Halloween issue the last several years, or however long they've been. They did just put out a new Halloween one, and I'm super stoked for that new Halloween one. However, being in America, I haven't got it yet. The shipping time from England to the US now is especially long because of customs, so I don't have the new Halloween one to feature, and I'm eagerly awaiting it. But this one starts out, and the reason I kind of did it was this one actually starts out with the Janna Prosvirina artwork, so really pretty there. But this one features several different artists. A lot of the Coloring Heaven magazines feature several different artists. Some will feature one artist, and it will be the entire magazine dedicated. But a lot of their thematic, their Christmas ones, their Halloween ones will feature a few pages from all these different artists. So just to look at this one, which, like I said, was from last year. We got ones by Matthew Larson. Really gruesome and gory. That's a little over the top for my particular taste, but I know a lot of people like that stuff. And then we had Yuriko Shiro. I don't really know how to say these people's names, but these are also more, I guess I would call them mature kind of Halloween. Disturbing maybe is a good word, but they're really beautiful and detailed, so nice, but probably not ones you want your kids coloring. So we had a lot by that artist, quite a few actually. This is Simona Candini. A little bit more cutesy, so a little bit on that, almost like a pastel goth kind of cutesy, but a little creepy in there. Not quite so gruesome as the previous ones. Then Jen Katz. She does really detailed, like the super. I like her her cutesy. She has a very cutesy look. I like her cutesy look, but she also does these super detailed, like the kind that you just sort of pick a section in, and you know, it takes a long time to color because you just kind of pick a section and then leave it alone, and not to get overwhelmed or something. And then Dawn Davidson, a really nice portrait artist. She does great portrait ones. And like I said, this one is one from last year, so I've actually used it some. And then the first ones were the Janna Prosvirina ones. So, very looking forward to the Halloween that's coming out, but I probably won't get it before Halloween. I'll still probably color it this year because I really like the pictures I saw in it. Anyway, so that is it's pretty much my entire Halloween collection so far, but since a lot of those are new releases this year, especially within the last month, I just thought I would feature those so that you have an idea of what's out there. If you have not come across them or have not seen those and you really like Halloween books, it's just nice to know, hey, that's a book I want, and now you can go and look for it before Halloween. Anyway, that is all I have for you right now, so thank you very much. Bye-bye.